And now let's talk about work, the job, and the black man. When the black people were enslaved for 200 years, well, not 200 years, but a long, long time, generationally, men were not invested in labor. Why? Because no matter how hard they worked for the white man, the plantation owners, they could not improve the situation for their families. They had to work for the man, and the man demanded work from them. But whether they worked hard, whether they were good at their job or not, they were still slaves, and their families were still slaves, and their financial situations were not improved. So the provider instinct in the man, in the male, in the black male, was thwarted. It did not provide improvement. It did not actually provide for his family. It was the white man, the man, who provided for the family, and not very well. So, generationally speaking, there became an adversarial relationship between many black men and work and jobs, because the idea is that the slave was forced to work. He had no choice. He was forced to work. It was slave labor. And so he couldn't choose a career. He couldn't do what he liked best. He couldn't follow his interests. And so work became an alienation, a pointless, unrewarded, forced activity. And generationally speaking, epigenetically, many black men kind of absorbed this attitude that to be really free, you have to not work, because work is not rewarded. Now, this doesn't apply to every black man, but it is in the epigenetic psychological baggage that enslavement can produce. Even in the Bible, when Moses led the enslaved Jews out of Egypt, many of the Israelis, the Jews, complained. Why did we leave Egypt? We were furnished with everything we need. We had all the food and shelter and water we needed. There's a slave mentality that is oppositional to freedom. And so what I'm saying is that generationally, black men can have an issue with work. That is disappearing, very true. It is disappearing, but it still exists. I have a friend who is married to a black man, and that is an issue. She said that her father was an engineer and he always worked. Even when he was off work, he would be in the garage building something. He built his own hovercraft. But her black husband doesn't like the idea of working, because the role of provider for the family is recent, historically, for the black man. And so the reason I'm posting this video is addressed to black men, to try to become aware of the issues that might be conditioning you to not see yourself as the provider, not see yourself as engaged in a work that you choose, that you have options that you can work for. Of course, there are many successful black men in society, but I'm talking about the remnants of the disadvantages psychologically and emotionally that epigenetically have influenced the black man when he enters into a family situation where being a provider is bypassed. The idea doesn't really connect. And having looking for and preparing for and studying for a job one really loves, if one is fortunate enough, does not seem to be an option for some of them, no matter how smart they are. So, this is to black men. Hats off for everything that has transpired and gone against nature in your cultural development as a role model for males in society. One of the disadvantages is the inheritance of the historical slavery. So, to all the successful black men out there, hats off. And to those who are struggling with providing for their families, please listen to this video, because very often making something conscious is to resolve the issue already.